Oh, hi guys. I wanted to hop on and make a video with the worst lighting ever. Just kidding, it's not the worst ever. I'm just sitting in my entryway of my home at my computer desk. So, now you know when you walk in my house, you see this picture. Yes, I'm due. So, this week I didn't upload a makeup video. I'm sure you've noticed. We had some stuff happen at the end of the week that was out of my control. And my plan was to go or sit down at my desk this weekend and do a little something, but some stuff happened that was outside of my control, so I didn't really have an opportunity to do that. And then I just have been kind of processing some stuff that went on. So we're fine. Everybody's fine. Nobody's sick or anything. You know, life just gets dramatic sometimes from outside sources. No biggie. So while that was happening, also I got my first tattoo. So on Monday, January 23rd, whatever this, I think it was the 23rd. Let me look. I want to be accurate. Well, today's the 25th, Wednesday the 25th, so it was on Monday, January 23rd, I went and I got my first tattoo, and I will show you, but I wanted to share some of my experience. Originally I had said I wanted to get the fruits of the spirit, and I wanted like words on the tree and stuff, and then the longer I thought about it and the more I talked to the guy that was going to do it, he just kind of felt like the words would fade over time because of the nature of where I wanted it and like how the branches would be and things like that. It just wouldn't be, the words wouldn't be what he wanted them to be or whatever. Anyways, he didn't love my vision for it necessarily, and so we just kind of talked about it, and I sent him a handful of different ideas that I had, and we were able to come up with one that I liked, and I changed it. Instead of having the fruits of the spirit in a devotion, I had read a different verse, which was Ephesians 3:17, which is roughly Paul, the Apostle Paul, talking about wanting the church of Ephesus to be grounded in Christ so that their roots would go deeply in love, so that they would have deep, deep roots in love, was the basic idea of the verse. And so I was like, something that I have been saying lately and feeling lately is that I'm deeply rooted in my Father, and not every season of life, as you know, is easy and pleasant. And so as I just kind of thought back on what my life has looked like and the different choices that I've made and the different seasons that I've gone through, the thing that just kind of is highlighted to me as I think about those things is I am deeply rooted in my Father. And so, yeah, that's what my tattoo says, is rooted in my Father. And it's, here, I'll show you. And so that's my tattoo. I wasn't going to edit this, but I think I will, so that I can put in pictures of me getting it and little videos that I had like sent my friends throughout and things like that. And so, yeah, it's bigger than what originally I had in mind. Originally it was going to be like the size of the palm of my hand, and I about doubled that. But I wanted the roots to, like, originally I had said I wanted them to like just have the word love, and then I was like, no, what if we just make them shaped like a heart, and then have the have the words separate, not like incorporated in the tree. And so that was what I ended up doing, obviously, because you just saw it. And the little girl is me. And the tree is my life. And my life is deeply rooted in my father. So that's my tattoo. I was a little intimidated to go and get it because, you know, it hurts. It's needles scratching your skin over and over for a while. So I was intimidated and I was concerned, but mostly I just was really excited, and I just wanted a physical representation of. I heard somebody say after I got my tattoo, the tattoos that you put on the outside, for most people, they should mean something and they match your insides. And so I thought that that was a really good way to put it, because I feel like this, I am rooted in my father, and I do feel like I'm rooted in my father. And so I felt like, yes, that does match my insides. It does. And so the experience itself was pretty good. I'm going to take a video. She do be hurting, but it's not too bad. I didn't pass out. I'm not crying. I didn't scream or anything.
Liar!
I didn't punch Paul.
We tied her down.
We're doing all right. Nobody needed to like slip me a Mickey or anything. I'm doing all right. I had a friend that came along with me, my friend Alex. She came along with me. Her husband owns the barbershop where the tattoo artist just recently had set up shop. So I went and we talked about my different ideas, and he drew it up for me. And then, he took two of the ideas, printed them out, squashed them together, sized them appropriately for my arm, traced it, made a stencil, and then put the stencil on my arm. And then made me wait for what seemed like 30 minutes after he put the stencil on my arm to set other things up. It wasn't really 30 minutes. It probably was maybe like 10. But it felt like forever, and I was so antsy sitting there with it on my arm just waiting for him to get started. Because we had talked about maybe doing it Saturday, but then he ended up not feeling very well or something. He just was, he had a busy week and stuff, so he just didn't want to do it that day. He was too tired, so I had been waiting since Saturday, and so I was so antsy to get it done, but he went to, finally he started, and I just nervously made conversation with Alex. And I'm so grateful that she was with me. Shout out Alex, you're awesome. Because I just was nervous, and I haven't historically always done well with needles. I blacked out more than once, like getting blood taken and stuff. So I thought, is this the dumbest thing I've ever done? At least it was like an old dental chair that I was sitting in, so if I passed out, I wasn't gonna like fall over on the floor or anything, because I was like kind of reclined. But it was like, is this the stupidest thing when I know I don't do great with needles? But it probably took, I don't think he started until almost 3, and then I didn't get out of there till like 6. So it probably took about 2.5 or 3 hours. We did take a couple of breaks, like for snacks and stuff, and different things like that. But overall, what it feels like to me, because the inside of your arm is kind of sensitive, but because there's not bones and stuff right there that are like right on the surface, well, at least on my chonky arm, it's not the most uncomfortable, and so it's like, feels like deep scratches, which is all it is. It's deep scratches. So there wasn't anything that was like terribly sharp or anything like that. It just was like a lot of small bursts of scratching. And there's like, I felt like the outline didn't hurt as much as like filling it in, like the shading and stuff. excuse me, was a little worse than the outline. And then the words, because they're down towards my wrist, that was terrible. The words were the worst. It hurt really bad. I never cried. I didn't pass out. I didn't like punch him in his throat or anything, but the words were rough. The words were rough for sure. That was the worst part. I'm gonna take a video. She do be hurting, but it's not too bad. I didn't pass out. I'm not crying. I didn't scream or anything.
Liar!
I didn't punch Paul.
We tied her down.
We're doing all right. Nobody needed to like slip me a Mickey or anything. I'm doing all right. But there wasn't very many words. There's just the 4. And so that was like the shortest part of all of it, was the most painful. And so, yeah, that's what my experience has been like. Since the tattoo itself, the healing process has been fine. I mean, I just have kept ointment on it, like you said, and I washed it a couple times a day, probably 3 or 4 times during the day, and then first thing in the morning and last thing at night. I wash it and then put a fresh ointment layer on it, and I don't put enough that it's sticky. But that was on Monday that I got it in the afternoon, and so now I am on day 3 of having it, so 48 hours total of actually having it. If you count that it's done, at 6 p.m. is when it's done, then I've had it for almost 48 hours, and so I just have kept it moist, and it is kind of swollen still, but not like the worst ever. Yesterday it was a lot more swollen, and yeah, it hasn't been a terrible experience for me personally. I am 40 years old, and so it's not, some people are like, oh, I'm 17, I'm gonna get this tattoo because I'm a grown-up. Like, no, I just wanted my outsides to match my insides. So now I have a physical reminder on my flesh that I'm rooted in my Father. I'm rooted in my Father. And I beat it hard enough that I put it in my skin for the world to see. It's what I did. I did a thing. And yeah. So thanks so much for watching. Anyways. Okay, guys. I guess that's it. So Jesus loves you. And I'll catch you on the flippity flip.